Deputy Speaker, I too rise to mark National Volunteers Week, which is occurring throughout Australia these days. I was privileged to be at the launch of National Volunteers Week on Monday with the Minister for Social Services and also the CEO of Volunteers Australia, Adrian Piccone. This recognises the hundreds of thousands, if not millions, of Australians who in one way or another volunteer their services in a range of community organisations, and we pay tribute to them in this place and elsewhere in the country this week. This morning in my electorate at Manacare, a aged and community care, respite care and daycare service conducted by the local council, there was a service, a breakfast to recognise many volunteers, and I was delighted to be able to provide certificates to the volunteers who were attending that function this morning. And on Friday, Deputy Speaker, I'll attend another function in my electorate arranged by Dongcare, the major welfare organisation in the Menzies electorate, which again will be an opportunity to recognise hundreds of volunteers who give so much of their valuable time to others in our community. And indeed, on Australia Day each year, Deputy Speaker, it's an opportunity for me for many years now to recognise so many people in our community, most of them volunteers, who do so much to build the fabric of the society in which we live. Which brings me to essentially what I believe is the basic principle here, and that is that what matters most about society happens in that space between the individual and the state. And that's the space which is occupied by families, by communities, by civic and religious groups and institutions, and indeed by the private economy. And that creating, sustaining, protecting that space and helping all who are part of it to continue to do that work which they do is indeed part of the foremost purposes of government in this country. Rather than viewing these institutions, organisations, agencies, etc. with suspicion, we must treat them as critical to the well-functioning of the society in which we live. It should never be the role of government to usurp their functions, but indeed allow them the freedom to operate as separate spheres of activity. And indeed, Deputy Speaker, reflecting on it, it strikes me that what is one of the marks of a democracy, like the country in which we are so fortunate to live in, is that we do have these vital organisations of civic society. That is a difference between a country like Australia and other countries that are less free, less democratic and in fact totalitarian in their nature. So cheers to all of those volunteers in Australia who do such a wonderful job.